Hello y'all, welcome to another episode of Cooking with Ciro. Today we answer the age-old question, to soak or not to soak your beans. Alright, so I was on an internet food forum, something like that, and there was a debate going on if you should pre-soak your beans prior to cooking them. So today we're going to do a little experiment. The experiment is simple. So I'm going to pre-soak 2 cups of beans for 4 to 6 hours at minimum. If you can pre-soak them overnight, that works best. Once the beans are done pre-soaking, we will cook them, and we will cook them alongside non-pre-soaked beans. And there are a few things we're going to be looking at. How long does it take to cook, and if there's any difference in the end product. So let's get to it. And for this experiment, I'm using just regular pinto beans. So even though the beans are packaged, you still want to go through them and make sure there aren't any little rocks, any little dirt in there, any little wrinkly beans that there may be. You can just get rid of them. 2 cups and another 2 cups. So there's 2 cups of beans. We're adding 4 cups of water. So there goes 2, and there goes 4. So my beans are ready. I have my control beans, and then I have my beans that are going to be soaked. Before these go in the pot, I will rinse them. I already cleaned them, made sure there wasn't any rocks or anything like that, but I haven't rinsed them, and I'm going to rinse these right before they go in the pot. I don't want them to get any moisture prior to this experiment. Alrighty, y'all. So for me, it's been about 10 hours. For y'all, it's been probably less than 10 seconds. That's the power of video editing. Let's take a look at my beans. I would say a good bit of water was absorbed. Look at that. Look at that. Those are both still 2 cups of beans. Let's look at a comparison. Look at this. Here's the dry one, and here's the soaked one. The soaked one is at least twice as big as a non-soaked bean. The soaked bean is also a little squishy. Can you hear this? Yeah, that's the bean making that noise. All right, so what I'm gonna do now is very simple. These are the ones that were not soaked. I'm gonna rinse them, I'm gonna put them in a pot, and I'm gonna put 6 cups of water. So it's 2 cups of beans, 6 cups of water. 1 part bean, 3 parts water. I'm gonna do that for both beans. So these have been rinsed. Now goes 6 cups of water. And in this pot are gonna go my pre-soaked beans, and also 6 cups of water. High heat for both. I'm gonna throw in a little bit of salt. I'm gonna give it a little stir. And that's it. All right, so my beans are on the pots. So I'm just cooking just the simplest pinto beans you can ever make. Just beans, water, and a little bit of salt. If you want a more elaborate and delicious bean recipe, follow this little link and you can see an amazing, delicious frijoles charros recipe. I've cooked extensively with both pots that I have. So whenever you cook stew or like chili in both of those pots, the time is usually the same. They pretty much cook the same. So for this experiment, having 2 different types of pots, it shouldn't affect the end result. We're gonna check in on our beans every 30 minutes. We're gonna be checking for doneness. So it's easy to check for doneness on a bean. You just get a little bean out. If it squishes, it's done, okay? And that's about it. Pinto beans can cook anywhere from 45 minutes all the way to 2 hours and 15 minutes, okay? It's a wide range, so that's why we're just gonna check it every 30 minutes. And fun fact, every bean cooks at a different time. I don't know if you knew that, but your black bean cooks different than your pinto bean, and that cooks different than your red bean or your kidney bean. It even cooks different than your navy bean. Did you know there was a navy bean? Look it up if you don't believe me. All right, so it's been 30 minutes. Let's take a look. Okay, a lot of the water has boiled off. These right here are my pre-soaked beans. Neither bean is done, but the pre-soaked bean looks a little bit more tender. The bean that wasn't soaked, a very hard drop. The bean is still very dense. No, this sounds more smushy. So the water is boiling off real nice. I'm gonna go ahead and add 2 cups of water to both of my pots. A little interesting note, this is the pot of beans that were not pre-soaked. Look at the color of this water. It's a very dark and very murky in comparison to this one. This one's a lighter water. You can see through it and see the beans. However, on this one, it's very dark and murky. Can't really see the beans. Pretty interesting. All right, so it's been about 40 minutes. Okay, let's take a look. Let's check for doneness. Smush. All right, so these are done. Oh wow, this is fairly hard. All right, so 40 minutes into the cook, these beans are completely done. These are the ones that were pre-soaked. These beans are still cooking. These are the beans that were not pre-soaked. And these are just, regular raw beans for comparison. You can see that these have soaked in some water. They've grown, but they're not quite to this size yet. These are completely done. You could also see that these are slightly darker than these. And this is the same pattern we found in the bean water. This bean water from the unpre-soaked beans is way darker than the bean water found in here, which is a very light brown. All right, so it's been another 20 minutes and these beans are now done as well. I'm gonna let this cool down a little bit and then the taste test. All right, so my beans are done. The ones that were pre-soaked, nice, big, fat, and juicy. They have a good taste. These took just about 40 minutes to cook. Good texture. Not too firm, not too smushy. It's good. Now let's try the non-pre-soaked bean. Tastes good. Interesting. Taking a look at both of our beans, this one right here is the pre-soaked and this is the non-pre-soaked. I don't know if the camera does it justice or not, but this one is darker. It's darker and it looks richer. And when I was tasting this one, the flavor seems to be more intense. It's a richer flavor. The pre-soaked bean is good, tastes delicious, tastes like a bean, but I find that it tastes a little less rich in flavor. Even the bean water, it's a light brown, whereas the bean that was not pre-soaked tastes richer, looks richer. The water is a dark brown color. So should you pre-soak your beans or not? It's up to you. Both of these beans taste great. However, for me, and in this house, moving forward, we're not gonna pre-soak our bean. Why? That's why, they're good. Some other things to consider. Cooking your beans without pre-soaking them will extend your cooking time. So in this particular case, it extended the cooking time by about 30 minutes. But a 30-minute extended cook compared to pre-soaking the bean for 6, 8, 10 hours plus, I just don't see the benefit in pre-soaking your beans. But cooking's about trying things out and doing what tastes good for you. And if you think pre-soaking your beans tastes better, do it. I'm not gonna judge you. Hey, I hope you liked this video. Go ahead and share this video. And guess what? If for whatever reason you didn't like this video, that's okay. I'm gonna make another video. Go and like that video.